Почитувани пријатели, гости во Literatura.mk и сите случајни минувачи, вечерва ја имаме ексклузивната можност да разговараме со легендарниот африкански музичар Феми Кути. Mr. Kuti, welcome to Literatura.mk.
Thank you.
Since the previous album, you have to be patient for 5 years and to prepare the current one. One critic said that this album is your masterpiece. So, how many years you have to prepare this and to make such a great piece of music?
You never know. You never know. You just, the melody comes, you put them together, and sometimes it's very exciting, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it takes the world a long time to understand the piece, and I think probably because of the intensity politically that surrounded, that we are in, the environment we are in now, and the topics I'm singing about is what makes this very, very important maybe. I think every album has been a masterpiece at the time. So this one looks like probably my best work now because it probably is because of my age as well, experience and maturity. So I think by the next album, I will have gained more experience musically, my knowledge, hopefully more, I'll have more wisdom. And all this will reflect in the next album. So, but I think this is a very important album because of the environment we find ourselves right now. Climate change, politically, there's so many global crises and in Africa, but not just in Africa. You have the migrant crisis, the refugee crisis. There's so much poverty going on. People are generally today very unhappy. And so this album, I think the music is very uplifting, but the topics are very important. And so maybe that's why the critic says these things, very nice things for me.
When I see the titles of the song, you always fight against poverty, against corruption, those things in the society that makes people unhappy. How important is to use music as a unique as lingua franca of nowadays to send the message, and are you satisfied from the response of the high level people on functions?
I will never be satisfied until I get the answers to what I'm singing about. And so probably this might last my whole lifetime. I'm definitely not satisfied with world powers. I'll give you an example. The way I believe world power should act is this. Let's take, for instance, the crisis in Haiti. Remember the earthquake in Haiti? It was so bad. Haiti has no money. It's such a very poor country. I believe the supernations, we're talking about money. What is money? Paper. Economics. It's so easy. Man makes money, blah, blah, blah. So it's easy mathematics. The World Bank, the United Nations, the supernations can say, Haiti needs $10 billion. We need to save Haiti or else the suffering will be totally unbearable for them. The World Bank can write this off. The supernations, the so-called supernations can forget about it, and they can get good-minded people that this will even create jobs, global jobs. You get a lot of young people that will go into Haiti, help, medicine, education, building. There's so much to do in Haiti. And this money can be written off and added to world economics. So again, you have uplifted the spirits of people, you have solved the problems of a nation, you have created jobs, and you have pumped more money globally into economics. This is simple mathematics. You take, for instance, again, and then you look at why did Europe bomb Iraq? And if you had told Europe that in a couple of years there will be a migrant crisis, it was unbelievable, because Iraq, Afghanistan seems so far that people will start to walk all this way to Europe and start knocking on the door of Europe. People will say, oh, it's impossible. So when America and Europe were throwing 6,000 bombs on Iraq, because we were safe, nobody cared. So women, people died, so many, and we didn't care. Now they're knocking on the door of Europe, and Europe says it's not our business. But what did Europe do to stop the bombing? Now Europe wants to close its eye, because suddenly they see it's going to affect them economically. Again, we're talking of economics. So they don't care who dies, who is suffering, as long as you're comfortable. So I think the education of mankind is wrong. Religion is supposed to teach us to love each other. So what is it politics or religion? Something definitely is wrong with the way we interact and the way we think. We see people suffering and we don't care.
Your music is definitely unique, and somebody will put it in Afrobeat, somebody else in ethno, world, traditional, R&B. You use everything, but you shortened your songs, you put synthi in it. Can you say that you find your own way, and how many years you had to search to find your own voice?
It took me quite a long time, but I think I'm still. The day the composer believes he's found himself totally, it's probably there's no point to be alive. I think every day I search for new concepts, new music, new melodies, or else I get bored, and I want something new every day. I want to experience new things. I don't like being in one. I don't like to be stagnant. I don't like to be monotonous, and so that's why I still practice at least 6 hours every day to find new ways to interpret what I feel, and to create another album, to create another song. And it's taken me now over 3 decades to be where I am. Am I satisfied? Not really. I want more. I want to be able to, I want my whole life to just be music. I want to think, eat, dream, everything, sex, music, everything should be music. I just want to feel, that love of being music itself. And I like to put myself in that space.
I saw somewhere that you said, I promise I'll learn how to play trumpet.
Yes.
You're stubborn, or you're...
I'd rather die than fail. Yes, I did say that. So I still practice the trumpet. And I've been playing now for 18 years. I think my problem now is I played the sax so much. And I think I took the sax to such a level that if I don't take the trumpet to that level, I will be always, a part of me will always be sad. So it's either a mistake I picked up the trumpet, but since I picked it up, the challenge is I have to play it perfectly. So this is going to disturb me till I die, I know that for sure. So yes, that is my most important, probably, challenge in my life. I think again the problem with the trumpet is it was my first musical instrument. So I didn't have a teacher and I just stopped playing. And my father moved to the sax, bought me the saxophone, so I played the sax. And I've spent all my life learning the sax. But my mind, my soul was always attached to the trumpet. So I think really I am a trumpeter, really. Because even the way I play, for instance, the soprano, was really to play,
we can hear trumpet.
It was to be a trumpeter. But because I could never pick up the trumpet and fear of not being able to play My young son, he was 3 when he picked up the trumpet, and this gave me courage. But now, I know great trumpeters like Lee Morgan, Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie. So to meet that level is a very big challenge I've set for myself. I think with Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, I learned so much. I knew I could never be them, but I could be Femi Kuti. And years of practice, I suddenly found I could find my voice with the saxophone. I don't know if I will be able to do that. Sometimes I feel like I've got it. And then I wake up the next day, I seem so far away. And then I'm very sad throughout the day. So I practice to try to get to that level. Music is such a, I tell people it's probably one of the hardest professions in this world. Because as the artist, you are really sad all your life. And you have to make everybody happy. And you go on stage, or you're writing a song to make people happy, really, or to bring peace or love, but deep down you are searching for those things yourself. And everybody has to listen to music. The lawyers listen to music, the pilots listen to music, doctors listen to music, everybody listens to music. And so you are in the center of this chaotic life, and sometimes people think fame, money brings that happiness, and I don't think that does that either. So it's a very difficult space a composer or a musician finds him or herself in. It's sometimes I think it's very sad.
Maybe that's the next step beyond after this masterpiece, playing a trumpet on the next album.
No, but I played the trumpet on this album.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you mean to be in the forefront? Oh,
yes.
If I do that, I probably will have found a great part of happiness I'm searching for.
I'm not sure that I'm sure what does it mean, African music, African rhythm. People want to make categories, this and that, because in Africa there is a diversity of styles and everything, east, west, central. If I ask you, what would you say, what is the key thing of African music that we can recognize that is pure, that is organic?
I think the key thing of any music is your environment affects you. And so, okay, I live in Lagos. So automatically,
your base?
Yes, it has to reflect. But I think music is, really, the deeper you go into it, you don't really have, you can't say music is particularly African or European. I think when you start to put borders in your mind, you already start to complicate. You complicate music. So, like yesterday, I'm working with the orchestra and Jihan, and the Jan. I pronounce it right. Your names are very difficult to pronounce.
Yours too.
Yes, of course. That's why we have to learn every day.
I didn't even try to say your name.
Don't even try. We'll spend all day here. Don't try to pronounce my name. Kuti is okay, but Anikulakpo, I'm sure I'll be teaching you for at least 1 hour. So, when I love strings, I love the violin. And we have this kind of instrument in Africa. But when I'm writing, I don't think I'm writing for Africa. I think I'm writing for the world today. I think I want people in Europe to love what I'm doing. I want Africa to love what I'm doing. I just want people to love what I'm doing and be happy at what I'm doing. So I think it's kind of racist in a way to think my music is African. Already that means if I'm talking about world peace, I'm talking about one people, one world, and I'm putting barriers and instructions in my thinking capability, then I am compromising my intelligence. You understand where I'm coming from? But I do think my music must reflect my environment. Probably if I stayed in Macedonia for a year, of course, the environment here, talking to people, probably I might fall in love or whatever, it will reflect in my music. And definitely coming here, even subconsciously, will affect my compositions or my style of playing or my style of interaction. Because I'm somebody that when I do know your subconscious affects your future thoughts. So being here, just seeing here, even through dreams, this environment will definitely affect my life. So I don't want to be somebody who wants to restrict myself and say, Africa, blah, 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 blah. I want world peace. But I do focus on Africa because I see so much pain, and the pain is right in front of me. But I cannot say I've been here and I've not seen pain. I cannot say I've been totally happy with everything I've seen here. I've met beautiful people, but I've seen a bit of poverty. But I see poverty in England. I've seen it in America. I've seen it in England, in France. And these things, yes, it is a global. And then on the news, we see it every day. And these things, I think we need to all think human. We need to think as human beings and stop restricting ourselves in this stereotype way of education that we are forced to think like. Putting borders in our minds, putting borders in our scripture, putting borders everywhere around us. I do know, common sense tells me that there are good Africans and there are bad Africans. There are good Europeans and bad Europeans. So I don't want to deal with you as a European. I want to deal with you I want to find beauty in you. And I don't want to see color. I don't want to see race. I don't want to see anything in you. I want to either understand you as a beautiful person or you're not a beautiful person. And if you're not a beautiful person, I don't want to have dealings with you. So you see, this is how I relate with myself now.
I can't even imagine how hard it was for you to say go away to that shadow on your shoulders, and I think
never
that
saw
you
one. I just saw love. So people just bring up things and they want to give somebody like me problems. My father is a great man, but I didn't just see greatness. He was my father and I loved him. I wanted him to be successful. I felt his pain. I felt his sorrow. I cried many times he was arrested. We were subjected to this same pain. And I always wanted to be, I think many children just want to, because you love your father, so it's automatically you want to either be like him or do what he's doing. And then people start to poison your mind. Oh, you'll never be great like him. You'll never this. Oh, there's a shadow, blah, blah. And I started to fight this at a very young age. Say, why are you doing this to me? I don't see no shadow. I don't have a problem with this. I'm not in competition. And if you want to make that your problem, why make it my problem? If you see a shadow, keep the shadow to yourself. If you have a problem with it, make that your problem. So I never saw, but I did see, if I am going to play music, then I'm going to have to work 10 times hard, because I did see a great man. And to not be in competition, but to see that, to feel that same greatness. There's no way I'm going to just sit down and think the instrument is going to work for me. I'm going to have to put hours and hours of practice. Unfortunately for me, my father had a good education musically, and he did not give me a good education. But you give your children. I know it's a very important thing to you. I learned. I am somebody that I am probably a terrible experimentalist. I like to, if you tell me something is going to burn me, I probably want to know why and what that pain will feel like. So I'll probably do what you tell me not to do. And I don't know why I do this, but it's some crazy feeling I always do. So don't do this. I'll say, why did she say don't do this? Ouch! And then I know, yes, so I understand it and I learn from it. And my life has been this. I had to struggle to be where I am today. I can't read. I have very little knowledge of writing. And it was quite embarrassing being with musicians who could read. So how do I sit next to a musician who can read and write? That means I have to work 10 times harder. I have to have a sound. I have to say, to catch their attention. And so, since it was like a misfortune or something. It was something I felt very bad about. So I had to really work hard. So the minute I found, wow, I think I got a tone, and I couldn't hear this tone on any saxophonist, I held it, and it was like a weapon. And then okay, then I have to run the scales very fast, like nobody can run it. So I did on all the scales, and then the chromatic scale, I did it hours, even in my sleep. Anything I was doing, I was just thinking music, because if I met like the orchestra, if probably 10, 15 years ago, I would have felt so bad. Even if they loved my music, I would have felt I can't do what they're doing. So what I saw yesterday was, well, I can't do what they are doing, but I can make sure my son can do this. I can give my son my knowledge. I can raise the bar, because I have this street education of teaching myself. And if I give my son this knowledge and he has a fundamental education, then it's a plus for me. Then I can sit back and just, all what I could not achieve in my life, I believe my children will. So it's a big sacrifice, but now I don't feel disabled when I'm sitting next to people who can read or write music. If you understand what I'm saying.
That's great.
But there was a lot of pain in my life to overcome such a challenge.
How important is to have a band and to have a people around you to feel them as a family? Because in a very short period of time, I know that you proclaimed Gian as your brother. Do you gather the people that way? You have to feel the same.
Not really. No. Not really. But most of them have been with me for a while. I've worked with a lot of people who have disappointed me. At the beginning, my musicians they come to Europe and they just walk away. And that was very painful. My first tour in '88, my drummer, who were in Switzerland, he just put his uniform on the bed and walked out. So we had no drummer. We had to play the tour without a drummer. I've played without a bassist before. And because Nigeria is so bad, when they come to Europe, they dream. They believe this is paradise. They don't understand that Europeans have their problems, so they run away. So I've had to deal with that in my life. My loyalty is probably one of the most important things for me. I never base anything on money. We need money to survive, but even if I ask for money, my objective is not the money. If I look at, like this tour right now, was a complete loss for me. But then when I think of the love I've shared in 5 weeks in Europe, people being happy, money can't buy that. You understand what I'm saying? There is no amount of money I will have had that will have given me the joy I shared playing 22 dates. There is no amount of joy meeting Dijon and the orchestra, playing my music, seeing and really looking them in the eye. Why do they want to play my music? Does he really like my music? Do they appreciate what I'm doing? These are questions. And when I got my own answers, not him telling me, because I have to look for my answers to be sure they have been sincere with me. So that's why I said, I saw he really liked what I was doing. He really cared about what I was doing. He was passionate, probably even more passionate than me, because I don't think I would play anybody's song, really. It would be very difficult for me. I'm that bad too. So why are you doing my song? And he wanted to get everything right. So I saw him like a brother. I saw him I saw something special, like love. So I saw him like a brother. He's probably closer than many people I've met. I don't want to compare him with my musicians because it's a different game. But I do have people in my band who are very dedicated, but they have to prove themselves every day, like I have to prove myself to them. As it's my band, I must always be open with them. They must trust me. They must believe what I'm saying. I can't afford to cheat, steal. I have to be totally honest. And they believe sometimes when I'm playing in Europe that I'm making millions of dollars. And because the dream, the mind in Africa is so distorted with the movies that it's very hard for them to understand that it's not everywhere we play that I get good pay. So to be very frank with them, sometimes some of them are misguided by this distortion in their minds. And I think what has kept me going is my honesty and frankness. So those that know me know I'm a very honest person in this regard.
So if you can write your life, your end, I'm really not, I don't trust myself that I'm talking about this, but you mentioned it's normal to talk about that. How do you want to finish your life and to say, I'm peaceful and I'm satisfied?
I've finished my life. Why? Because my son, my eldest son, is better than me. He's more passionate. He is everything more than me.
How old is he?
He's 20. He will be 23. And I met a girl in Switzerland. And he's working. He's studying composition in England. And she said something to me. She said, "Your son has managed to take his heritage and not manipulate it for himself. He's so simple, and that's why she loves him." She's not his girlfriend, they just work musically. I said, wow, that is what a father wants to hear. I said, so I can die in peace? She said, yes. I said, thank you, that's all I wanted to hear. So I'm happy. I'm going to die with a smile because my greatest wish in my life has been accomplished. And why I tell you that I will die with a smile, because I've never thought as a young African, you want to make money. So my dream was, I want millions of dollars. So if you had an interview with me, you say, what is my biggest dream? I want money. I want plenty money. And I've been struggling all my life for this money. And every time I think I'm going to get this money, I never get this money. So I said, maybe the problem is me. Why am I thinking of money? What am I even going to do with all this money? Let me look for something else. Be a great musician. Being a great musician doesn't mean having great money. How do I play my sax? When I pick my sax, I want people to feel and play. So when I pick my instrument to practice, what I feel, money can't give me this. You understand? How I feel with my children, money can't give me. When my children say, Daddy, I love you, I cry. Do you understand what I'm saying? But
don't die, not yet, because you will see what will happen after this concert and this interview.
Don't worry. If I die, it will be for a reason. Nothing happens in this life
without a reason.
Without a reason. So if I die, it's for a good reason. I think people are too afraid we should embrace it. You see, probably if we embrace it, it will even run and you'll die at the right time. But when you keep running away from it, why are you running away? I told you of the flight. Everybody was, they were all panicking, and I was saying, wow, this is dangerous. We might die tonight. I looked out of the window and I just saw fear. I said, wow, this is wrong. You know what? Let me sleep. And I fell asleep. When I woke up, the plane landed. And I said, wow, that was a good choice, right? So we need not fear. We need not fear anymore. When you are afraid, how do you tell your leaders they are corrupt? Because then you are afraid to be jailed, you are afraid to be You're afraid they're going to kill you. But injustice is injustice. What will you do if somebody raped your daughter? You keep quiet? So why would you be afraid? I'll tell you a story. I came back from a tour and 5 boys came into my house with guns. They thought I came back because the paper said I came back with 27 million naira. So they came to steal. And they said, we're going to kill you today. Lie down. I said, wow, you are going to kill me today. And I'm going to lie down. I said, since you are going to kill me, I'm not going to lie down. You better kill me standing up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is how I've always been thinking for a long time, because of many things that have happened in my life musically that have made me say, this is wrong. To go after the money instead of the passion was wrong. I don't think, I probably could have $10 million. My son will be a nuisance. I could be a bad father. That money will not give me the love I have in my life. Probably we're on TV, but if I show you any of my children, you will understand what I'm saying. Dijon saw one of my daughters today. The way they interact with me, the way they... Money can't give me this, you see? And what I do, I sacrifice my life to find answers for my children and for my music and for people who want to listen to me. So I know my life is a big sacrifice for greater things to come. So the burden really is probably on my children, who will find the ultimate answers for me in my lifetime. I can't read and write music. It was a big problem. But my son and my children can read and write music. But my experience in life as an artist, even traveling all over the world, education can't give me that knowledge. The people I've met, the concerts. Yesterday, my son sent me, said, wow, I wish I was there. And I said, don't worry, you are going to have greater days in your life. You understand? And he will have greater days because his daddy has made sure. He did a great concert yesterday and great people love his father. So when my son comes to Macedonia one day, he will be recognized and Macedonians will see him as I've described him, very humble, very lovable, but you will not be surprised because you know his father. And all you will see is, you will not see greatness in that greatness negative form. You will see love, you will see beauty, you will see all the things you wish to see in a human being. I know I'm going to die with a smile.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.